All right, good afternoon. We're going to be going over a new AIO by a company that's been about a fair while. Most people know this company by the amount of products they've done. They've done absolutely tons. You're probably going to recognize the Night series. If you're one of the more old school type of vapors, you might recognize the series, the Sharon, which was a mod from a fair few years ago. They've also done pod kits and things based on the same series, the Night series. This is a company that's just been about ages. This is Smoant, and we're going to be going over the new Night AIO model. I did actually request to have an RBA sent with this. Unfortunately, that did not arrive because you'll find a lot of their models that do have RBAs have a lot of different RBAs. The Pasito, for example, has its own RBA. The Night pod kit version, pod mod or whatever you want to call it, has its own RBA, and this new Night AIO has its own RBA too, which is from the new K Coil series. So which I kind of wanted to get my hands on, but it didn't happen. So I can basically only show you basically from what we've got. I can tell you now they have accumulated quite a lot of coils for these. They've reached out to every type of vapor, whether you're a MTL vapor all the way to a direct lung vapor. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this is about. I wish I got some MTL coils. I did request more coils to show people, but I only got one extra, and I don't know where that one singular extra actually is. I think it's like a 0.3 I've got, which is the extra. The ones I've got with the kit are a 0.4 and a 0.12. So yeah, there's tons of them. So if you're thinking about buying this kit, it's going to be one of them cases of are you an MTL vapor? If you are an MTL vapor, you're going to have to buy coils straight away. If you're a direct lung vapor, you're probably all right for the first couple of coils to find out which one's your niche. So it's going to be a hit and miss on whether or not the coils are going to be good for you straight away, because as I said, when you buy the kit, it comes with no MTL coils, which is a bit of a shame in my mind, because I think being an 18650 mod, and most people who are doing AIOs now are doing 18650 mods, which I don't particularly like too much, but you know, I'm one of them, like, if you're going to direct lung 21700s, you know, but most people who are using AIOs are using their own borrow bridges and things like that. So that could be another thing for me to test out to see if any of my borrows fit inside. So right, let's knock this down and bottom and give it a bit of an unboxing. Right, the Night AIO. As you see, this is a sample version. This isn't one that's going to be released as main packaging, I would imagine. Smelt on the side of the box, smelt on the bottom of the box, smelt here, there, and bloody everywhere. Keep out the reach of children. That should be pretty standard for most companies that are dealing in vaping products these days, though there are companies out there that really don't give a shit. But I'm not saying that's Smoant themselves. We have, as I said, it's an 18650 battery. Let's just fucking put it up here. 90 watts max power, 5 mils tank, which is a large capacity. 8 types of vaping modes. I don't know where they're coming across that one. Okay, K series compatible coils, and as I said, they've done a fair few coils for this, so which would keep things kind of interesting. I'm not sure if this K series coil is relevant to any other of the Night series. I've not used any of the other ones. I've meant to, but I've just not got around to buying and reviewing any myself. So first things first, let's go over the accessories box. It looks like you got a pair of headphones in there. Yeah, right. We could be so lucky. But no, this is going to be a USB-C charger. Yep, USB-C. The chances of getting a micro USB these days are probably slim to none. Everyone's probably upgraded by now. This is quite a chunky monkey coil. So yeah, I kind of expect that. I'm not sure if you can see the inside of the coil here. It's got a bit of an overlap on that mesh cotton, so I'm not sure how I feel about the quality control on that. But what ohms this one? This one's a 0.15. It's not likely the one I'm going to be using anyway, so I'm not going to be pulling it out too far. You also have a drip tip, which compared to the one that's pre-installed, this is the one that's pre-installed. This one's a little bit more thinner, more restricted, you know, and this one's a bit more bulkier. You know, it seems to have a little notch on it, where, yep, they both have little notches on it, which is probably to help adjust with undoing this. So that's kind of cool. I'm wondering if there's, see, you crank that, there we go. Right, so panels, how many panels are there? Right, how do we open this thing up? Right, so that's how you open it up. I don't think it's quite a smart little mod, not going to lie. Any more panels? No, I think that's fixed. Is it fixed? More panels, so there's potentially more ideas to get more. Was it more panels for this thing? You strip it. Ah, there we go. Here's your 18650. Adjustable 18650, just in case yours might be either a slightly bigger or smaller. Even as that looks quite smart. So knowing you can strip these side panels off is quite a good idea. Realistically, whether or not I'd be wanting to switch this up and try and change all your buttons and stuff out, I don't think I'd really want to bother. It might be a bit of a ball ache, if I'm completely honest. I mean, you've got your screws here, and screws here and here, but once you start dismantling it, you know, how tricky is it going to be to put back together? That is another question, isn't it? So yeah, I'll leave that kind of dismantling to the proper reviewers that know more about AIO, more about Boros and AIOs than I do. So yeah, so I can't really see anything other than it's really just cracking on with it. And I think the branding's a bit OTT here, but as I said, it's kind of covered up. And then you got that big Smoant sign right here, designed by Smoant, you know. But it's, the battery tray's definitely got a bit of a hole to it, so these tiny little batteries are definitely doing their job properly. I'm wondering where the battery is, to be honest. The magnets are. So it's got quite a lot of resistance. So yeah, let's take the tank out and fill her up. Right. See, as it's coming out, it's coming out more comfortably from the side because you have the magnets for the faceplate here. Right, you've got a little airflow control here. My guess is you're just going to be unscrewing it to get your coil out. Bear with me, I need a bit more of a reach on that. Well, I completely cocked that one up. It's not pulling it out. It's not unscrewing it at all. It's unscrewing it from the base here, pulling the base right out, and it basically just pops out. As I said, that's a monster coil. I mean, I'd even go to say they're probably as big as the old TFV 16 coils. Well, no, probably not that big, but they're still pretty hench. So yeah, what you're going to want to do, especially if you're, as you see, this is a dual coil. What you're going to want to do is put some e-liquid to help prime it up a little bit quicker in the center. And put some e-liquid here. E-liquid here. Basically, a little bit anywhere you can see cotton. Then that will help prime it up that a little bit quicker. Right. As far as tab goes, you've got your tab from here. Not sure if you can see that. There you go, tab there at the front, tab at the side. So no matter how you feel it, do it, you should be pretty much covered. See, this is a large Gorilla style bottle. But the problem I've just found is if you do it from this side, especially with a large bottle, you might end up pushing too much through. So let's try it from the side here. It looks like you've got a little bit more room from the coil to the tank. See, that fits in a lot more better. It's definitely more comfortable. If you're not aware of what I'm using Infernal Strawberry Apple. Right. Always give it about 5 to 10 minutes to saturate a little bit more. What's the coil rating on this one? I can't remember. I think this was a 0.4, wasn't it? If the 0.15's in there. Right. One thing I've found with Boros, if you're not as comfortable with Boros as other people, it's a case of lining them back up. You know, they can be a little bit on the awkward side. All right. I mean, I got to admit, I would like one of them kind of, what you call it? It's like, you know, the straight lock thing. Right, so I feel like I've done as much as I can do with it. I'm pretty sure that was meant to be almost flush. Oh well, fuck it. I'll have another play about with it later. So yeah, there we have your side panels. Make sure I'm making sure mine's fully open right now. As you can see here, it's a bit awkward to, you can't really adjust the airflow here unless you've got something to kind of really spam in there, I suppose. So there's no adjustable airflow on the fly. You know, if you are going to do it, you're going to have to release that and take your tank out. From my perspective, maybe some sort of lever might have been nice. I don't know. Let's get a battery for this thing. Right, I can't remember last time I checked these batteries. It's been a fair while. Right, so not sure if you can see it. There are some markings on the inside. Well, it's one marking really. There's a positive down. So there's that. See, that's quite a lot of space. That is definitely quite a lot of space for an 18650. You see that? That is a big jump. It wouldn't have taken much more for them to make it in a 21700, especially in height. So, yeah. We have our... See, I don't understand why they put that here. You know, that little instruction manual here. If you're one that likes keeping the instruction manuals, you would have put it somewhere a little bit more, I don't know, there or something. I don't know. Like, you know, it's just somewhere different. It's like, it's just not bang on the screen. I feel like that was a bit of a wasted point. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to keep these things on as long as they can stay, you know. I do, let's go for it. Let's go for 1, 2. Nothing. 0.45 is reading. I think it's supposed to be a 0.4. It is giving us approximately 40 watts. 1, 2, 3. Variable wattage, variable voltage. You have your curves. What's that? BP bypass. Nickel, titanium, stainless, TCR. Back to variable wattage. Okay. So that's mode select. Left and right together, hold for 2 seconds. That will lock your screen. If you want, so 5 plus the 2 buttons will puff reset, and 10 times will give you a full reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, I think 10 seconds will give you a... There we go. That's locked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See if anything happens. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Anything? Nothing. So I don't know what the full reset would do. Puff reset is fire and hold these 2 buttons for 2 seconds. Let's go. Oops. Up and down. There we go. We're unlocked. Let's have a quick blast of this. I think this should be all right. So now we have a puff counter. There you go, and that's it. Like fire, 2 seconds on the thing. Though that seems to be a little bit quicker than 2 seconds, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's small-ish. It's not the smallest AIO I've come across. I think the Lost Vape one was probably a little bit smaller, if I'm honest. I'm not disliking it. It looks alright, you know. It's a bit plasticky once you take the things off. I'd be kind of in two minds about giving it a real knock. USB-C at the bottom. There we go. I'd imagine they say don't charge more than 2 amps, but if you use an external battery, use an external battery charger. You know, keep things safe. You know, all that kind of thing. I'm going to switch that out. Seems a little crunchy, but we are using actual metal on the inside, so that's pretty good, because I've known some to scrape out a little bit. So yeah, let's give this a bit of a bust. Now we're reading 0.48. Okay, let's come back on top. So we're running a 40 watts it's given me on the 0.4K coil. I'm on 0.43 right now. There is a little bit of a jump in the resistance. I'm not sure as whether or not I've been able to connect that right. It looks a little bit pissed. So that could be down to human error. But yeah, let's try it again. I mean, everyone loves a bit of human error. Oh, kinky, you know. There we go. Got a bit more give this time. But we'll set a little bit lower. We're reading at 0.42. As you can tell, the drip tip's a bit more down. I didn't have it in the right way. There is a little bit of give each way. So one thing I noticed, I didn't have the fill ports facing the outside, so I gave that a bit of a twist round. So the coiling in the center of the tank isn't quite centralized to the vessel itself. Was that a big difference in other borrows? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done a borrow. In fact, it's probably been a while since I've used one. Borrows have never really been my kind of thing. They've taken an interest, but they've never really been that kind of thing. Right, let's give it another quick blast. Flavour is a little bit more better now. The resistance is still jumping a little bit. But maybe as it breaks in, it might kind of hollow out a bit. So yeah, what do I think? Not bad. It's kind of comfortable. I'm not 100% forgiving so much on the airflow on where it's situated, to be honest. I mean, you can't fucking fit your fingers in there. You'd have to have some skinny ass motherfucking fingers to adjust that. So to me, that's no adjusting on the fly. You know, that's a bit of an inconvenience. I mean, realistically, you don't need the side panel on. But it gives an ever so slight restriction, very slight with your higher wattage coils. I think I'd probably rather pins, if I'm honest, but that's just me. Um, it's it's not a bad coil, to be completely fair. It's not the most sharpest coil, but I'm used to vaping this stuff. This is a 7030. I'm used to vaping this stuff at a lot higher wattages. So me putting it in a 45 watt, it might be something that's on, might be a fault on my part, because as we know, some juices are better for higher wattages. Um, it's no reason. It's definitely saturating. I'm getting couple of little bubbles nip up here and there. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of liking the fact you can see your chip. I think that's quite cool. I usually when people do that, they add some sort of light up fixture. I kind of partly expected that. Um, I think, to be honest, I'd rather, if they weren't going to do some sort of light up fixture, I'd rather they kept it plain, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's. I think it's just going to be one of them. It's going to be a cheaper kind of borrow that works as it should and how people want it. It's not super flashy, but it's not terrible. You know, it's, I suppose with every device is whatever you make of it. I can only come here and tell you my opinions, tell you what I like and don't like about it. There's nothing super negative about it. The coil's rather ridiculously big, possibly intentional. Might be to keep longer life, you know, especially with direct lung coils. The smaller your coil, the more power you push through them, the less life you're going to get. I mean, it could be that simple. I mean, as I said, like if you put a smaller coil in, you might get 0.6 mils more, but you might not have your coil life. So I can also imagine the MTL coils being still be tall, but they would be a lot more thinner. So like, you might get that extra capacity. But yeah, I might have to give this another little bit of a bash, buy some more coils, and see if I can hunt down one of these RBAs for this at some point. It's not a negative. It's not a total positive. It's an acceptable. It's a working device. This thing hasn't actually shouted out excitement for me, but I'm not going to say it's a pile of trash, because it really, from what I can tell so far, it isn't. I think one of the annoyances are it's this ring in the top. You know, they decided to do their own kind of ring, you know, which is a partial fitted. If you look at the Borrow style ones, you've got a whole notch which you could actually put just a penny in and fucking twist the entire top. You're not going to be able to do that with this one. I might try some other pieces from other Borrows to see if it works, but end of the day, I kind of think if you're going to that extra effort, putting certain stuff with other devices, like you've kind of just wasted more money, really, isn't it? So it depends on your thoughts on that. You know, are you out to waste more money? You know, I know people that are obsessed with borrows and they've spent fucking hundreds, if not thousands, on the fucking things. I don't get that same hype with borrows, personally. So, you know, maybe I will have a little dig about later, to see if I can find any of my borrow tanks, and have a little dish through. But for now, I'm calling it. I might do a follow up to this at the end of the video. I might not. I'm just gonna be happy go lucky for now. So I'll catch everyone soon. And I hope to be back with you for another review at some point. I meant to finish this review off a little while ago. I've been trying to look back for the Smell K RBA, which has been more suitable for this AIO. I think it's the one they do with, is it the Pasito or the Last Night? I haven't been able to find one absolutely anywhere unless I had it imported, and even some of the prices that were for it were a bit much. So yeah, I mean, I was going to try and go over it with a couple more coil types, but they're going to take a fair while to get here. I have been using it with a standard borrow vessel as well as an EUC bridge and coil. It's working fine. I mean, it's a nice looking device. It's not something to shout the walls down with. I'm not going to put it down in too much of a negative sense because, as I said, I don't think I'm all into the whole borrow thing really. It's enough, you know. I mean, the coils that are on sale for it are mostly direct lung coils. If you've got the little adapter, they've got a couple of MTL coils for it. I haven't got the adapter. I haven't got no MTL coils, so I can't comment on them. The coil I did have in it, the Smowant one, I can't remember which one I put in it. It wasn't particularly the greatest coil. I think I got about a week out of it. I've had a little bit longer out of this EUC coil, you know, and these EUC coils are supposed to be pretty good anyway. I've gone through a few of them in the past. They've been all right, nothing to rave about, but you know, I've had a little bit better with this coil. So it's obviously down to manufacturing and things like that. So the fact it takes a borrow coil means you can put your RBAs or whichever you want in. I mean, the price on these aren't particularly very expensive. So if you're after just a little beta mod, something like that, it's for the price they're asking for it, or the price I've been seeing them sold at, they are more than worth it. If the prices were to creep up higher, like, you know, north, like higher than 50, then I might be starting to say, hold on one fucking minute. But considering so far, any of the prices I've seen have been under 50 quid, I'd say, yeah, go for it. As I said, it's good for a little beta mod. Most people have their own RBAs anyway. Most people use their own borrow RBAs. I mean, whether that's I'm not going to start shouting out names and shit, but you know, once you have a borrow RBA, most people stick to that RBA. Unless they're looking for something more high-end, etc., etc. But that's it. This is literally, in that case, a shell. What is important is what's on the inside. In my opinion, it's the coils you should be running, you know. I mean, I would have liked to have seen them do, rather than an RBA for the night, their own deck, you know, their own RBA deck. That would have been good. I mean, Thunderhead Creations has been messing about with their own ones. I've only used one of theirs, to be honest, and to be fair, it was pretty fucking good. You know, so that's one thing. I would like to have seen a little bit more effort in the old borrow fix thing, but the fact they have a normal RBA, you know, which is fair enough. You can't really go wrong on that point. I mean, they've already suited it to one RBA. Why would you need two? Which is probably a fair standing. But yeah, as I said, I can't knock it too hard. It does what it's supposed to do. It's not super exciting. I don't find it. I mean, I like the fact you put the battery in here, you literally just pull that out and loosen it up, and you put your new battery in and you tighten it up. You know, I like that. That's covered on one part. I like the fact this side panel comes off, so if you've got a side filling RBA, you can literally put it out here and refill from the side. Or if you have a front filling RBA, you know, you take that panel off, You know, it's. I'd like to see some more sold panels, separately sold panels. I think that might be quite cool. Maybe some proper custom jobs, you know. I mean, it works. It works, you know, and that's all I'm going to say, really. I'm not going to say it's fucking brilliant. It's the most fucking best thing since French bread. Like, it works well. You know, it does what it's supposed to do. I am getting resistance changes in the EUC coil. I was also getting resistance changes in the Smoank coil. So, you know, but I've just been holding the wattage, keeping it the same wattage, and it's been running fine. So, you know, it's do with the information as you will. I'm not going to say go buy it. I'm not going to say don't buy it. It's just some extra information in a sense. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. I am so sorry it's taken so long to fucking get out, but you know, circumstances are circumstances. And with any luck, hopefully at some point I will catch you all soon for another.